Hey class, a very good morning again. So, in the first part, we studied about the first three uh, topics, that was the Matrias, the company's conquest, and the British rule. We saw in the Matrias, we heard the song of the patriotic song sung by Jayalalitha. I'm sorry, Lata Mangeshkar, the famous singer. And in the company's conquest, we saw how the Britishes started exploiting Indian goods, started taking over advantages, how the princes of Indians were short sighted, and how Tipu Sultan came and fought till end. And then we saw the British rule, how British imposed heavy taxes on Indian, and how he made tax free for all the inland goods, and how the people thought that some thought they were being blessed and some thought they have become enslaved, right? So today we are going to proceed forward. Ram Mohan Roy, 1772 to 1833. Ram Mohan Roy, a learned man from Bengal, understood that what was wrong with the country. Let us not despair ourselves. Our Asian culture is great and we are capable of great achievements. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. He told to his wife Uma, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. He was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. He started newspapers, but suspicious British stopped them in 1823. He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British so powerful. There he told them, "We accept you as rulers, and you must accept as subjects. But you must remember, the responsibility a ruler owes is to his subject." Now, this chapter, sorry, this top Ram Mohan Roy. Now, Ram Mohan Roy, when he came from Bengal, who understood the problems that was happening in the country, he preached everyone that all religions are same. He tried to convince people not to follow those unrealistic or unreligion practices like untouchability and child marriage. But he was more fascinated by science and technology and knowledge. So he went to England to talk to British people that if they are ruling the country, they have to look after the subjects too, that is, the publics too, the country's profit too. Slowly, he opened his own newspaper through which he tried to communicate to the uh, masses or a large group of people for freedom. But the Britishers came to know about his action and stopped his newspaper in 1823. So all the efforts of Raja Ram Mohan Roy were taken into subdue, because he was at every point he was suppressed by the Britishers and the people were not ready to support him. Now, after his effort comes the oppression, which was taken place in 1765 to 1835. Now we'll see what happened during this years. But the British continued to oppress Indians. In 1818, they had passed Regulation 3. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without a trial in court. All the time, British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private businesses. By 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. Wow, that's a huge amount at that time. Governor General Benedict reported back home, "The bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India." Remember this line, the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. The British prospered on the company's loot, while Indian industries began to die. Such a sad to see that they had to face so much of things during those times. Now, in 1818, the British passed a regulation that any Indian could be jailed without a trial. Without a trial means without any offerings. If a person is if a victim is taken under custody, he is taken to court for a trial where the opposition parties, where the lawyers of every party fights for them. They are given a chance to speak, they are given a chance to explain themselves, prove them right. But here in this year 1818, the British passed a resolution that Indian could be jailed without a trial in court. Hence, the British started making money and fortune, and by the end, British were exporting goods of worth 7 crores in India. Today 7 crores is a huge amount, and at that time 7 crore was more than anything else. Couldn't even imagine. Now the Governor General Benedict reported back to his country that the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching plains of India. Now what does this line mean? That the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching plains of India. This line means that the British has been making riches, a lot and lot of profit, and has been prospering over the use of Indian industries. They are making a huge profit in India, and they are gaining a lot of prosperity as well. So this was all about oppression by the Britishers during the year 1765 to 1835. Now, dissatisfaction 1835 to 1856. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, Englishmen named Macaulay suggested a change. We should teach natives through the English language. I agree. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs under them incidentally. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals. We must educate our brothers and try to improve their material conditions. For that, we must convey a grievance to the British Parliament. By 1856, the British has conquered the whole India. Now you see the map. You remember the previous map we saw, right? This was in the year between 1757 to 1849. You could see most of the major yellow part was under the Indian princes, and the pink part was under the British territory. Now if you look at this map of the year 1818, for 1835, 1856, the maximum portion of the state is being conquered by the British, and the Indian princes have very less with them, almost very less. By 1856, the British had conquered the whole of India. They cared little about the needs of Indians. Our kings have become puppets, and we have lost our jobs and lands. They are converting our brothers. You only talk. Do something to drive them out. Now, by 1835, finally people realized there's something wrong. Now, in 1835, Lord Macullus suggested that English should be used as an education. Now, their main aim was to create a group of clerks that would help them to maintain their administration purposes. Of course, a new, wise, intelligent generation was developed. Some thought that they will educate the masses, but some started to think that they should complain the British Parliament. Of course, it was a futile. By 1856, almost the entire India was under British rule. So you see, once the education was started, there were a lot of, at least people started understanding the differences. They started understanding that they have been humiliated. They started to understand that it's time for them to take action, and some were still thinking that we need to stop and stay. So that's all for today, students. So in the next video, we'll complete the next 3 topics and then we'll conclude this chapter. Okay? Thank you, class.